Let's talk about some unique differences between the influenza virus, the flu, and the COVID-19, which is the coronavirus. What are the differences? What are the similarities? Now let's first talk about the symptoms. With the flu virus, you have more achiness, fatigue, chills, and headaches. Now you're also going to get those symptoms over here too, but not as severe. What's unique about the coronavirus is that you're going to get more shortness of breath and difficulty breathing. Both of these viruses will present with fever, dry cough, respiratory symptoms, and there's no difference between the transmission. It's transmitted the same through sneezing, coughing, and contact. Now, with the flu virus, it comes faster, abruptly, between 1 and 2 days. With the COVID-19, the symptoms are a little more gradual, between 3 to 7 days. Now, the deaths from the flu usually occur, not all the time, from secondary bacterial pneumonia and heart attacks. Now, with the coronavirus, the deaths are mainly from something called ARDS, acute respiratory distress syndrome. This is a respiratory condition where the lungs fill up with fluid and it makes it almost impossible to breathe. This condition was also very common in the Spanish flu of 1918. What worse in those cases back then was the fact that they not only had ARDS, but they also took massive doses of aspirin, and they didn't know the toxicity back then, and that just made things a lot worse. Now, with the flu virus, it targets the elderly, people with a weak immune system, or someone has a chronic health problem, diabetes, obesity, heart disease, etc. It also targets children and pregnant women. Whereas in the coronavirus, the target is the elderly, 70, 80 plus years old, and people with pre-existing health problems. Believe it or not, obesity is a high risk, diabetes, high blood pressure, people with autoimmune disease, basically people with a weakened immune system, but it doesn't necessarily target children or pregnant women. Based on the CDC estimates very recently, between October 2019 through March 7th, 2020, these are the estimates. This is in the US alone. 51 million people got infected with the flu. 24 million medical visits. 670,000 hospitalized. And 55,000 people died. Now, worldwide, the estimates were between 250,000 to 500,000 people died between this time period, which is about 5 months. Now, if we compare this data to the coronavirus data, and we're going to talk just worldwide, we had 200,000 cases. So just look at this right here. 200,000 cases to 51 million cases. And the deaths currently are 8,246. But I do want to just have you take a look, compare this number right here to 55,000. That's in the US, but the true comparison should be worldwide because we want to compare apples to apples. Between 250,000 to 500,000 people died versus a little more than 8,000. Now, I'm not trying to minimize this, and I'm not saying this is not going to grow, but I just want you to look at these numbers to compare them. There's a big, big difference. Now, 82,000 people recovered from the COVID-19 so far. We have 107,000 which haven't fully recovered yet, but they have a mild condition. And then we have 6,000 that are critical. Here's what I would do if I were you. The fact that it attacks people with a weakened immune system is very good data. There is a lot of elderly people with a strong immune system, and they are not as susceptible. So really the key is strengthening your own defense mechanism, which is your army, so it can defend against the enemy, which is the virus. So it really boils down to creating more health in your body, taking the right nutrients. Check out this video on how to boost your immune system.